I wish I had watched somebody's video when I was going through everything. I love my life. My pancakes are burning again. I don't know how the people on Food Network do it. I just think this world would be so much better if we were all just more open and honest. Nobody likes to hear the word bowel in relation to themselves. Alright, hello, good morning. I thought I would do a little something different for this one and do like a breakfast and chat type of thing about kind of my health journey, because I feel like I just jumped on here right away and started doing like full days of eating and like days in the life, and I just feel like I never took a step back and like brought up everything that's happened in the past. So like when I just throw out of nowhere, oh, IBD, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I just thought it would be really beneficial to just share my story in one quick and easy video. So yeah, we're gonna do that. But my pancakes are burning, so I'm gonna go flip those real quick. All right, they're a little bit burnt. That is great. And I'm not loving this lighting. We're gonna go back here. Alright, this just goes to show you, like, I'm just not meant to talk and cook at the same time. I don't know how the people on Food Network do it. Like, we were watching, what's her name from Pioneer Woman?
Just call her the Pioneer Woman.
Okay, the Pioneer Woman. She's the cutest human ever, first of all. Second of all, my pancakes are burning again. This is so hard, no wonder. Like, I know she has cheesy lines, but this is really difficult. Alright, as I was saying, I don't even really know where to start, but I'm probably going to be talking about my ulcerative colitis diagnosis. I'll probably just do that first. Nothing better than talking about colons and making breakfast. I love my life. So I'll probably talk about that and IBD and all of that stuff, and eating disorder recovery, and hypothalamic amenorrhea. I'll probably just start with the most recent, which is ulcerative colitis, and work my way back. I guess that's not really the best way to do it while we're like making food, but I don't know, I'm just gonna do it. Let's talk about February real quick, because that was kind of the month that everything happened in regards to my ulcerative colitis diagnosis. It hit me out of nowhere. So when I first started seeing a GI doctor about some symptoms I was having, he was just convinced that it was like a type of food poisoning or something of that sort, because it hit me so hard and fast out of absolutely nowhere. Honestly, the worst month of my life. And then finally, it was like the day after Valentine's Day is when my mom came up, because I was at school at the time on my college campus apartment. Right now I'm home, but I was 2.5 hours away, and my mom came up to take care of me. Hold on, my pancakes need flipping. But my mom came up and she pretty much convinced me that I had to go to the hospital. So we did, and that's kind of how they diagnosed me. Yeah, they did a colonoscopy and they found out that that was actually the reason, and that it wasn't food poisoning, so that's great. And it honestly took me a really long time to recover. It was probably not until the very end of February then that I started feeling better, even though like I was given like the medications and stuff I needed. My body just took a very long time to respond. Which is fine. But UC, I'm just gonna call it ulcerative colitis UC because it's so much easier to say. But UC and Crohn's both fall under the umbrella term called irritable bowel disease, also known as IBD, which I'll probably just say for short because nobody likes to hear the word bowel in relation to themselves. So those two are like very closely similar diseases. And both of which are very hard to manage, and we don't really know the root cause of them because clearly for some people like me, it is not genetic. which is very frustrating for me studying science in school. It's just like very hard for me to just accept that we don't know. So that's annoying, but right now I am taking a medication called Humira. It's an injection that I take like every other week. It's not fun, but it helps. Like I'm in quote remission now, so I think I'm healthy. My pancakes need flipping. It's actually really annoying. I don't know why I chose pancakes for this video. All right. What was I saying? Oh, and I'm also following what's known as a specific carbohydrate diet. It's very similar to a paleo type of diet, but it's kind of designed for people with UC and Crohn's, but has also been shown to help people with potentially autism, and there's one other one too. But it pretty much just takes a lot of the stress off of your digestive system, and it doesn't feed the bad bacteria in our colons that's causing a lot of the inflammation. So while it is similar to the paleo diet, it's a little bit stricter, I would say, and I was following that very strictly for a good month. But then like by the end of March or so, I started incorporating like very dark chocolate again. I started incorporating, that might have been it. Oh, like fermented dairy, I'm okay with. Fermented soy, like tempeh, is fine. But all of those things are not traditionally allowed on the specific carbohydrate diet, which I'll just call SCD for short. If you check out my blog, like pretty much everything is SCD friendly on there. It's become a really big passion of mine recently to start developing and creating some fun and interesting and delicious recipes that I can still eat and feel good after eating. So that's been kind of my new little passion project, which I'm loving. That's pretty much all the treatment that I'm doing for it right now. So that's pretty much, I feel like I didn't even do the whole diagnosis story justice. If you want to see like the real-time stories I took during the whole hospital process, during my diagnosis, and the times after my diagnosis, I have a whole story highlight on my Instagram account. If you want to go check it out, feel free to do so. But I feel like that was kind of the quick and dirty version of what happened. All right, a little update on my potentially burnt pancakes. They're not too bad. The first round was definitely a little bit darker than I would have liked. This is really difficult to do, but as you can see, I can't believe I'm doing this. As you can see, it's a little bit darker than I would typically go for, but that's okay. The rest are decent. Not my best work, not my worst, but it smells like banana bread in here and I am loving it. And I'm going to start making my favorite SCD microwave muffin. It takes like 5 minutes. It's one of my favorites and I'm so hungry. It is like, it's almost 10. It's 9:57 right now, which is much later than I would usually eat. Like usually I get up at 7:30, eat by 8, and then do my workout, whatever. Still working out after this, but I had an early interview this morning, which I think went really well, fingers crossed. I didn't get back until like 30 minutes ago, so yeah, and it's obviously, it takes like way longer to talk and cook, so. But hopefully this is worth it. Hopefully this helps somebody, because I wish I had watched somebody's video when I was going through everything and my diagnosis, because like there was just so many unknowns, and I'm burning my pancakes again. Oh my gosh. I had never even heard of ulcerative colitis before I was diagnosed with it, which I feel like is kind of crazy because it actually affects like 2 million of us or something crazy. And I just wish I had seen another girl like my age, like early 20s, go through this, and I wish I had seen her still be able to live like her normal life, because I lost hope for a solid month. I thought my life would never be the same. I thought that this was just gonna be like my new normal, but I am almost 100% back to how I was at the start of all of this, if not even better, because I have more gratitude than ever for what I'm able to do. on any given day. And I have so much more appreciation for my body and how it looks, even though it is bloated 90% of the time. It just gave me a whole new outlook on life, like a whole new compassion for other people. And I would have never had that if I didn't go through something so gross and so horrible and uncontrollable and scary and the works. So my case of UC was, my doctor said it was the worst one he's ever seen in like 40 years of practice. So it hit me hard, and I'm sure I'm not alone in just feeling, I've never felt so weak in my whole life. And it just gave me a whole new perspective on like what people with other diseases go through that is so much more worse and like even deadly. Even right now with the whole virus thing going around, like it breaks my heart or to know that other people are suffering in probably a worse way than I did. And it just gives me a whole new perspective on life. And for that, I'm really thankful. But it was a lot. So now I guess like while I make my muffin, let's talk about my eating disorder. This is such a fun video for me. Wow, it's like bringing back all the feels. Need my giant thing of coconut oil first. Look at how big this is. All right, so first I do 1/4 of a cup of cashew flour. Almond flour works as well, but I just feel like cashew flour just makes it fluffier. I don't know why. I do a tablespoon of, what is this, almond flour. Also huge. Like I go through this like crazy. And then I do another tablespoon of coconut flour. I just feel like this blend of different nut flours just, you know, gives it the touch. Where was I? I'm so bad at this. I always think like I want a cooking show someday, but then I try and like talk and cook and it just like doesn't work. I just get too distracted by like one or the other. Like I was just standing in front of the burner for the pancakes for like, sorry, I had to shake the salt off. For like a solid 5 minutes just staring at it because I totally lost my train of thought talking. Probably gonna have to cut that out. All right, so now I just add a little bit of salt and half a teaspoon of baking soda and a little shake of cinnamon because I put cinnamon in everything. Like yesterday I was trying out a Thai burger recipe and literally just, I don't think cinnamon goes in Thai food, but I threw it in there. I really don't know what I'm doing. I just want to make food that tastes good. Let's talk about my eating disorder recovery because I guess that's kind of, actually, that's not really the most second recent thing that's happening to me because I feel like I'm almost fully recovered from my eating disorder, but I'm not fully recovered from HA, also known as hypothalamic amenorrhea. The definition of hypothalamic amenorrhea, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna say HA, is when you lose it, but I didn't get it until November of this past year, and I'm 20 for reference. And a lot of that has to do with my eating disorder. Actually, all of it probably does. I'm doing everything I can right now. I'm eating, I don't track every day, but I track probably once or twice a week just to make sure I'm eating enough food. And I'm eating close to 2,600 calories per day. Like, I don't know why my body still won't respond. I'm sure there's reasons, but birth control didn't work for me. I tried like some other hormonal supplements that I was given by my OBGYN, and I just like didn't work, like nothing made it happen. This is also like really gross to talk about while I'm cooking. It eventually came on its own this past November, but it hasn't come back since, which might be due to the inflammation from UC because I didn't know that's what it was at the time, but I was having more stomach aches than usual. I had weird digestion leading up to February, which definitely probably started in November, looking back. I'm gonna keep making this because I'm really hungry and I would like to eat soon. So I'm gonna do that. Next, all I add to this flour mixture is a 1/4 cup of water, and I plop in a 1/2 teaspoon of coconut oil. and then I microwave it to get it really hot. And I pour the hot water and coconut oil into the flour mixture and add in my liquid egg whites. A regular egg white works as well, but you have to add more water for some reason. Like, I think that these are just a little bit watered down. I'm gonna do all of that real quick and then like get back to my story because Alright, so as you just saw, I just topped that muffin with warm blueberries and my pancakes are ready, and I'm hungry. But while I pour my coffee, I'll finish my story real quick about the whole HA thing. I need a coffee cup. Alright, so don't judge me for the Christmas mug, but it is the biggest one we own, and I used it for my decaf coffee last night, so it's already dirty and I may as well just use it. Alright, so full disclosure on the HA situation, to continue that, it's honestly still like not resolved. It's still something that I'm dealing with constantly. That's why I wanted to talk about that right now too, because I don't want this to come off as like, oh, I have answers, I know exactly how to help you and like help get you healthy again. Like, I know I'm not the only one, especially in like the health, wellness, fitness space, dealing with this. I don't have my answers yet. I think a lot of that's just because I'm still pretty inflamed on the inside from UC, but I think I'm getting there. There's no way to know, but I think I'm getting there. If you're dealing with it too, just know that you're not alone and you're not alone in the struggle. I'm still working on it, and that's the best we can do. I think a big reason why HA even happened was due to my eating disorder, which happened like early high school for me. I think I was 14. I was hospitalized inpatient. It was really, really, really bad. I was so sick. Looking back, it breaks my heart. It really does that that's even a part of my life, but it was, and now I just want to use that kind of embarrassing, really horrible, really traumatizing part of my life to hopefully help other people and just like, this is not the end of your journey. Like, your weight and how you look and how fast you run is not the end of your journey. And I thought it was at one point. I thought that's what I was living for. And turns out there's so much more to life. And I'll go deeper into my recovery story and everything after breakfast now, and I'm really hungry. Feel like there's way too much light in here. Such a rookie, holy moly. These are one of my favorites. I don't know if it's going to focus. They don't get really fluffy, they're more like a dense banana bread type of thing. Totally grain-free, gluten-free, SCD friendly, as you guys know. And then for this muffin, it turns out so fluffy and delicious every single time. I cannot get enough of this one. It's such a good, quick and easy recipe, and I've been loving it these past, like, what, 3 months? It's been 3 months since I was diagnosed. That does not feel real. Anyways, it's like a little bowl of heaven, and I cannot wait to dig in. Probably just gonna eat this while I'm watching some TV or something and just chill, and then I'll come back and kind of share my eating disorder story, because a couple of years ago, there's no way I would eat this much in my whole day, much less for breakfast alone, and that's sad. Now I'm like one of the biggest foodies I know. I love food. I go to school for food science. I have a focus in nutrition. I have a food blog, for heaven's sakes. Like, if it wasn't for my recovery, there's no way I would be doing all of the things that fulfill me so much today. So yeah, I can't wait to share that once I'm done with this little spread that you guys can't even really see anymore. But I'm just sitting on my floor As per usual, I love sitting on the floor. Is that weird? Alright, so breakfast was absolutely delicious and it actually stopped raining, so I'm gonna come out here to finish my little story. I was honestly getting hangry for a little bit. My apologies. Oh, I'm kind of getting rained on. I don't know if I like this. Alright, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm having a really hard time talking about this. I don't know why. Okay, let's just start with the facts. Going back, it probably started like my freshman year of high school, so I was 14, super young, but I was comparing myself to all of the senior girls on the cross country team and how fast they were, and I wasn't that fast, and they all had like smaller legs than me. Like they were just more of a runner's build. I would say I'm definitely more of like an athletic build, if anything, and not that an athletic build like isn't meant to run, like they are, but it really does help to be a little bit taller, maybe a little bit lankier. So I was just comparing myself to all of that, and then it really escalated when I joined the swim team, and I think comparing myself to other girls in swimsuits every single day after practice, and it was just really hard. Like that's when I would say my eating disorder started. That's when I started taking like drastic measures to try and change the way my body looked, because I thought it was going to help me be a better athlete. It wasn't doing it for the sake of just losing weight or like I hated myself. Like I was okay with myself. Like I still compared my body to other girls, of course, but y'all do that, I think. It wasn't anything crazy, but I just sincerely thought that like eating less or like eating healthier and like eating maybe only vegetables was the answer to like be like perform better, which is not the case at all. If anything, you have to eat more, and I realize that now. Yeah, so little 14-year-old me really thought she was doing the right thing, and I took it way too far. In that spring, actually April of my freshman year, is when I was hospitalized for the first time. My heartbeat was, I think, at like in the low 20s per minute, so like my resting heart rate was like dangerously low. I was in the cardiology unit for a while because they just thought that it might stop. They told me I might have been on the brink of a heart attack at any given practice, or like any given time I worked out. And that was another part too. Like I would wake up in the crazy hours of the morning to work out before school because I didn't think that swimming was enough practice or like enough of a workout, because I wasn't sweating. Which is ridiculous because like you don't sweat like you normally do in a pool. And that's kind of how it started. But I was hospitalized, 80 pounds, super low heart rate. I think that's why they put me in inpatient to begin with. But I was there for, I think, 3 months. I barely saw my family at all. I think they were allowed in for like an hour per day or something. And for a 14-year-old girl who doesn't know how to live on her own yet, it was just a super traumatic experience that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And honestly, like the place I went to in downtown Pittsburgh, it was a mental institute, first of all. Second of all, we got a lot of like college students from Pitt as nurses because they were like interns or whatever, like doing their thing. I forget what you call it, but they treated me like a slave. Like it was just so bad. I still like look back and I don't think I would recommend that route to anybody. Like if you need inpatient care, I would go to like some kind of other residential facility. Like I have very bad things to say about the one I went to, but that's besides the point. But I was in there for a long time. I was wheelchair bound. They wouldn't let me even just like stand or walk besides to take a shower. I think that only lasted like 3 or 4 weeks, but that was really scary. Yeah, and then I guess just like it was early July, I think I was finally out of inpatient care. And yeah, they moved me to outpatient, whatever, and like I put on the weight again. Recovered on the outside, but on the inside, I still had a ton of work to do. I ended up relapsing again my sophomore year of high school. I went back into intensive outpatient care, so I couldn't be in school, I couldn't do my sports that I love to do so much, just like all of the things I identified with were just like stripped from me. It was honestly a really trying time of my life, and I grew up a lot during that second period, because I would say that that's when I truly recovered on the inside during that time. And clearly, like, recovery is not linear. Like, I went through a ton of ups and downs going through the rest of high school. But I would say that the second time around, my sophomore year of high school, was for sure a turning point. Yeah, and I still have thoughts every once in a while, and I still, like, easily compare myself to other girls my age. But, like, the thoughts have faded over time, and it's hard to say that I have like fully recovered because I don't really know what that feels like. I think like since being diagnosed with IBD, obviously like it's totally changed the way I view my body and appreciate it and love it. And I've come to terms with the fact that I'm just never gonna look like other girls. Like, I get bloated really easily. I'm never gonna have that super flat bikini body, whatever. But I can be as healthy and as fit and as, what's the word? I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but you get the point. I hope that helps give you guys a little bit of an inside scoop on my story. Going back to recovery, like the hospitalizations were a huge part of it, but then my parents also took on the role of being a caretaker for a good year as well. I forget what the exact name of the thing is, but it does have a name. If you know it, like, please drop it down below because I totally forget. But like, they would have to make all my meals. Like, I couldn't have any control over what I eat, and honestly that helped a lot too. I would definitely recommend that. Even though it stunk for me, it was so emotionally trying for my whole family. I think that that was also a really big turning point in my eating disorder recovery. And if you're going through something similar right now, I just really hope that this video helps you and gives you hope, and like, you're not alone. And I also hope that this kind of gives you a little backstory as to like why I'm so into healthy eating and what got me into it and why I do what I do on Instagram and my blog and why I post about stuff that I do. And a lot of people don't know what the heck this specific carbohydrate diet is, and a lot of what I make is that. So I hate classifying my diet, also going off of like the whole eating disorder thing. Like, I hate the word diet, but that's another thing that like IBD has kind of taught me, is that sometimes you just have to eat in ways that to take care of yourself. And in this case for me right now, I'm recovered enough to know that all food is good food, but maybe just not for my body at this point in my life. So I hope that helps. But that's a new perspective that I kind of have towards food, towards fitness. I'm going to continue sharing some marathon training on here because that's another huge part of my life right now, and I'm just so thankful that I was able to recover enough to be able to marathon train. When I had my eating disorder, like, I didn't run for like months at a time, and honestly it's just something I've always loved since 3rd grade, so it wrecked me. But I'm just so thankful right now to be able to do what I love to do again and share it with all of you guys. And if you watch this whole thing, thank you so much. I hope it kind of explains my philosophy toward food and like all of my what I eat in a day videos and day in the life videos and everything. I just feel like it's really important to share, because the more that we all share our experiences, the more we can all learn from each other and grow from each other and grow with each other. I just think this world would be so much better if we were all just more open and honest and willing to help others. So I hope this helped, and I'm gonna go. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Bye.